you think that the Court of Arbitration for Sport are right to overturn their ban to compete again in the African Cup of Nations?
Yeah, certainly. It was a knee-jerk reaction to ban him in the first place. I don't know where the figure for $1 million came from. It's like someone just plucked it from thin air and said, let's just fine him $1 million. Look, they pulled out for obvious reasons. The Ebola was a problem. It still is a problem. Yeah. And you can't blame them for doing so. I guess it was just a short notice in which they pulled out. So the head of the African nations obviously were disappointed having to find a substitute so late and just banned them.
I suppose it looks bad for the Confederation of African Football because it looks bad for their sort of PR, their reputation, if countries are stopping sort of hosting tournaments because of Ebola. It looks like they can't get it under control. So do you think that they were right to be so harsh on Morocco? Probably
right to be harsh, but maybe not so banning them for two African nations. Morocco are a big African footballing nation as well, so they need to be in this tournament just to publicise it a bit more. I guess the problem they have as well is that people seem to be able to go to the Court of Arbitration for Sport and get things overturned so easily now. And that could be a telling point for other countries going forward. But it shows, for the fine to go down from $1 million to 50,000, it's a weird one, but I think it's the right decision.
Sure. Moving on to the English Premier League now. It's a big match, a big set of matches this weekend with Arsenal taking on Liverpool, your team Liverpool, my team Arsenal.
Yeah.
As well as
let's not clash here. Let's not clash here.
As well as Manchester United playing Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Let's talk. And Chelsea playing Stoke and Man City playing on the Monday against Crystal Palace. But let's start first with Arsenal versus Liverpool. Who do you fancy in this one? Don't be biased with your Liverpool sort of allegiance there, though.
No, look, as much as I'd love to say Liverpool will win, Emirates has always been a tough place for Liverpool to go, especially after the Man United result as well. Arsenal are riding high at the moment. They're top of the form table, as you rightly said earlier. I think six wins in a row. Emirates always a tough place to go to. Injuries for Liverpool, suspensions for Liverpool. It's going to be a tough game. I'd probably take a point right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose after your loss to Manchester United as well, I don't want to rub that in or anything, but...
Thank you.
I suppose you'd be fired up for a win here, because you're still relatively in the race for the fourth spot and potentially even second or third as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen a lot of people rule out Liverpool already. I think it's too early to do that. The Premiership, we can see, goes right to the wire all the time. Everyone takes points of everyone. Look, they need a win to still keep themselves in touch, but at the end of the day, I think a point will still keep them there. They just can't afford to lose. I think if they lose, Arsenal go clear, possibly second, and I think it'll be too hard to catch anyone in the top four if that happens.
Now Diego Costa is seemingly fit again for Chelsea. Do you think that his sort of return to the team, if he does play a part on the weekend, will essentially see them pull clear and you know, essentially make this a one-horse race now for the title?
I think so. Look, he's so important. He's got 19 goals in the Premiership in his first season. He's almost like a talisman for them. He's come in. They've always had sort of big, strong, dominating strikers. He fits that mould perfectly. He's had it all stop-start season as well. We've had injuries, we've had suspensions as well. He'll be on the bench. Stoke, I think they'll cause problems, but I mean, look, they've got Drogba up front, they've still got Loic Remy up front. Costa can come and cause more problems for them, and I expect Chelsea to win and go clear and eventually win the title.
And it's interesting to see Manchester City's challenge for the title just flop at the sort of in the final stages. There's 8 games to go, and they are looking like they're sort of off the boil big time. They're second at the moment, but by the end of this weekend, they could be fourth.
They can be, but I think people shouldn't rule them out too quickly. I mean, with the end of last season, Liverpool were favourites. Man City came from nowhere to win that. Even the time they won it 2 seasons back, Man United were favourites, and again, they came to win that. So I wouldn't rule them out too quickly. They've got experienced players. They've got winners in their league as well. Sorry, in their camp as well. So a lot of people are writing them off. I certainly won't be until the last whistle.
And as a Liverpool fan, what do you make of the whole Raheem Sterling situation at the moment? Is he right to sort of hold out for more than £100,000 a week?
Certainly not. No, look, but look, it's an open market, as they say. I mean, you should get what you're worth. I mean, Brendan Rodgers has come out and said he's one of the best players in Europe, so he's probably thinking, well, let me be paid as one of the best players in Europe. I think everyone's looking at his age and saying he's young. Well, you know, hey, what can you do? He's one of our best players. He's an England international. He wants his money. I think he should stay at Liverpool. He's still young. You know, learn your trade there. 24, 25, if you want to move on, move on. Yeah. But for now, stay out the paper, stay out the media, and just play football.
It's almost like he's sort of courting the big timers like Real Madrid, maybe Bayern Munich, perhaps.
Yeah.
Some of the bigger European clubs away from the Premier League, the English Premier League, to sort of take an interest in him to see if he can negotiate, or his agent can negotiate a higher salary. So is that an ethical ploy in football, do you think?
It happens now, doesn't it? But I think Raheem Sterling's got to look at people like Scott Sinclair that went you know, from, I think, Swansea to Man City. Again, he's caught in a bigger team, didn't play a game, and now he's come back in Aston Villa on loan. Jack Rodwell, Everton to Man City. Again, similar examples of young players that have moved on to bigger clubs and nothing's happened. I think Raheem Sterling's at a big club in Liverpool, stay there for a few more seasons, win some trophies, and then make that big move to Real Madrid or Barcelona, like Gareth Bale did.
And you can almost sort of say that Brendan Rodgers, the manager at Liverpool, has done a really good job at nurturing him and putting him through the team and seeing his development through.
Yeah, and you've got, not just him as well, you've got a lot of young players that have come through. You should look at that. Henderson came, a lot of pressure, he's now done very well. Jordan Eves coming through, Flanagan's coming through. There's a lot of young players, same age as Raheem Sterling, that are coming through, so I think you should stay there. Hopefully they can grow together.
Ade, thank you very much. More from you later on in the programme.